Chapter 5, request header. So in this chapter we are going to see what is header, what are the different ways to send the headers to the server as well. So let me start this chapter. We have the get call, and inside this get call we can see we have the tab related to headers as well. So the first question is, what is header and why do we use a header? Header is nothing but additional information which a client sends along with the request to the server. Server process the request and send it back to the client as well. So whenever the server is sending the response back to the client as well, they also send some additional information in the form of the headers as well. So we are saying whenever the client is sending it, we are saying request headers. Whenever the server is sending the response back and they are sending the headers as well, we are saying a response headers as well. And here we have a few headers which we are sending it along with the get request. We have the host, we have the accept encoding connection as well. So one of the famous header which we always send it, which is related to authorization, there we are going to say that is the key, and here we can see the connection is the key, another is the value is a key as well. So whenever we are sending the information, we are sending the headers in the form of the key and the value pair. So when we commit here, so this is the karate session project which we have created in the previous sessions. So let's do one thing, let's create a one feature file, and we are going to send the request with the help of the headers as well. So we are saying karate feature, and we are going to have it here a header request, and then we are going to provide the feature name here as well. We can say test the headers, and we can have the scenario name as well. We can say header part 1. Now what we are going to do is we are going to have the steps here. We can go it here to the get request. So let's copy these steps, commit here inside the header request, paste it. So these are nothing but a get request. With the help of these 3 steps, we able to invoke a get request. We can get the response back. Now what we are going to do is we are going to add the header. So whenever you want to add the header, the karate has provided a keyword which is this header, and then we are going to talk about the key name, the header name, which is a content type. If you want, you can give it some other name as well. We are saying what is the value, which is this application slash JSON as well. So header is a keyword. With the help of this header, we can send the headers. What we need to do is we need to provide the name, and then we are going to provide the value as well. So let's do one thing, let's go and invoke this and see whether this request get it successful or not. Whenever you want to invoke a get call, or whenever you want to invoke this scenario, we need to commit here and to change the name of the feature file to the header request. I have already changed, so this is going to invoke this particular feature file, which is this header request or feature file. So right click, say run, and it is going to invoke this header request feature, which is having a one scenario, which is this header request, and it is going to send a request along with the header as well. So when we commit here, we can see we are getting the content type is equal to application JSON. In case if you want to send another header along with the request, we can say, take an example of this time saying header test, we can have it the value as well. We can say a test value as well. So we are sending a 2 headers. So whenever you want to add another header, we need to do the same thing as we are doing previously. We need to use a keyword header and then the value and the key as well. So let's go and invoke this. Right click this runner and say run, and it is going to invoke a one test case, which is this scenario one, header part 1, and then it is going to send the response as well. Now we can see we are having a 2 headers. One is a content type, another is a test, and we have the values of those headers as well. In case if you want to send a multiple header, then this is not a good approach, because whenever you are going to send it, you need to add a separate step. In case if you want to send multiple headers, then the karate has provided another keyword to us, which is a headers. Header is going to accept a multiple values. Let's have this headers test, and in the form of the JSON we can pass the headers information. To take an example of, we are going to send it again the content type, and then we are going to use a colon, and we need to provide the value where we are saying application slash JSON. And if you want to separate, if you want to send a multiple headers, then you need to separate it this JSON with the help of this comma, and then you can type another header. Take an example of the header value. Header name is a test, and then what is the value. We are saying the header value is going to be a test value as well. Now let's comment out this piece of line. These are the number of the lines which we are commenting out. So we are using headers as a keyword, and then whatever the information we are going to pass it of the headers, we are going to pass it in the form of the JSON. We need to say this is the key and this is the value. So let's go and invoke this. Right click, say run, and then it is going to invoke this particular scenario with the multiple headers, but this time we are using a headers as a key instead of having a single header. Now we can see we able to get these two values. And in case if you don't want to use these headers as well, then the Karate provides another name or another keyword. We are saying a configure keyword. Then we are going to provide the name of the headers is equal to what all headers you want to send it. Take an example of, we want to send it the same headers as we are sending it with the headers as well. So instead of using the given and when, then we can use directly with the star and then configure is going to followed by the headers and the values as well. So let's go and invoke this. Right click, say run, and then it is going to do the same thing as we guys were doing it with the help of the headers and the header keyword as well. So, and we can see we able to get it these as well. So there are the three ways which we can send the headers. One is a single header. If you want to send it only a single, then you can use it. If you want to send it multiple, then we are going to use a headers is a keyword provided by the Karate framework. We are using it, and then whatever the headers which you are sending it, we are sending it in the form of the JSON. And whenever we are separating a two headers, you need to use a comma as well. If you don't want to use the headers, then we can use a configure keyword, provide the headers as a name, and then assigning the values to these headers as well. So that's it in this session.